I'm going to take this carpet right here, and it's a cut pile carpet. See how the ends just come straight up? That's called cut pile. And how thick it is. Level loop kind of goes the other way, and it's a little bit different. But this is a cut pile carpet, and the previous owner happened to leave this in their garage. And I thought, what can I do with this? Because inside the house, there's nothing like this. Well, first off, I could cut a couple mats, floor mats or something, put them in rooms, or I could put one over here by the door going outside. I could put another one down here at the bottom of the steps going into the house. I already got one there. I think I'm going to leave that one there, but when I was talking to Momi, I says, hey, how about if we use that carpet and we actually put it on the steps? I thought that might be a good idea, especially in the winter, and so you don't track stuff in and you can kind of wipe your feet off on it. You can imagine all the stuff that you carry in from your car, out into your garage floor, and up your steps into your house. I thought, maybe we can catch some of the stuff on here. Yeah, this stuff is probably going to get dirty, but I don't really care about that. I'd rather get the dirt there than inside the house and then trampled from the tile floor into the carpet and so forth and so on. So I thought I would use this. So that's what our project is today. I'm going to use a level. I'm actually going to use some scissors. And that's not all I'm going to use. I'm going to use a sheetrock knife. And I'll show you all that. That's what our project is today. Well, if you want to stick around and watch that, stick around. I brought my handy tripod out here, and I'm going to set that up. And what, in fact, how am I going to do this? Am I a carpenter scholar? Absolutely not. I've seen it done many, many times. And if you just know how to use a sheetrock knife, and even if you don't, you want to watch this, I think I'll give you some tips along the way. Okay? So the first thing I've got to decide is how wide these steps are, first off, and which piece of carpet over there I'm going to use. Because on the remnants, I want to kind of save some of this carpet. You know, I don't know what I'm going to use it for later on down the road. I might want to save this nice big tall one, even though there's not as much. See how much there is here? Well, look at this. There's only a few. This is in a small roll. That tall one is in a small roll, but I might be able to use that for something else. So I think I'm going to ultimately get the carpet pieces out of this right here. But I'm going to go over here first, and I'm going to measure, kind of get some rough idea. I got 12 inches. I got about 12 and a half to the outside, but I can cut this less than 12 inches, and the carpet's going to fold down and kind of flare out a little bit. So I've got less than 12 inches, and this one's 12 inches. Boy, when I first looked at that, I thought that bottom one was a little bit not as wide before I measured it. Isn't that funny? That's because this one continues underneath the base, that baseboard. 12 1/4, 12. So I'm going to look at this over here. And I'm going to measure this, and I'm thinking I can get 2 pieces out of a length of this. I'm hoping this is 2 feet tall. Oh, it's plenty. Look, it's 3 feet tall. Jeez. Okay, that's 3 feet tall. So when I unroll this, I know this is going to be plenty. They used a, what is this? It almost looks like an old nylon type sock. And you can use that to tie things. It actually works pretty good. You know, like pantyhose or something like that. So I'm not going to cut it. I think I can just save that. They had it in 2 pieces. I'm glad right there they tied it. Yep, see, they got 2 pieces here. That's what they used. Let's see here. I'll untie that in a minute. I don't want to cut it. I'm going to save that. I always like to save stuff I'll get this ready and we'll get going. Okay, I must have my mother in me because she saved everything in her life, basically. So, I feel like I gotta sneeze. And so that's why I didn't cut that. In honor of mother. Now, I've got to unroll this. I've got to decide, which way am I going to cut this? Am I going to cut it on the surface or on the back side? That's your first thing you got to know. Guess what? Kaboom. I'm going to cut it on the back side. Did you know that's how you're supposed to cut carpet? A lot easier to cut that. And I've got in my sheetrock knife, retractable, and I have a new blade on there that's nice and sharp. And that goes all the way in here, so you can flip this over by unscrewing this. And that's the kind I like, to unscrew this and take it off, and the retractable one. It used to be dull on the other side, so I took that one off. I want a nice sharp one. Keep your fingers out of the way, and I'm going to end up using that. Okay? So, but first, before I do that, again, we're going to measure this and see what we got. 12 1/4, and that's 12. And if I make them just slightly less than 12, I think I'll make them like 11 3/4. Maybe even a little less, 11 5/8 even. Nope, that'll be too short up there. See? This one's 12 inches to the outside edge. I'm trying to make one cut on that carpet if I can, but maybe I can't. This one I know I need a full 12 inches. This one, if I cut it 12, it could, the edge of the carpet's gonna hang over after I cut it because it's a cut pile. Okay, but I can make this top one 12. Now I'm gonna measure the length. 38 1/4. 38 1/2. I guess I can make them, and that's almost 38 1/2. 38 1/4. 38 1/4 by 12. Okay. You see this carpet once you cut it. Once you cut it, the cut pile on the other side has a tendency to kind of flop out a little bit. See? So 38 1/4 by 12. And I got this remnant piece, and I first have to make sure that it's straight. How am I going to know if that's straight? If I measure off of that edge, across and over, I think it's going to be crooked. Because if I look on these lines are usually fairly straight. Okay? So let's look at this top. Let's look at the top right. If I go across, that first line stops to there. The second one stops to there. The third one stops to there. See that? And it kind of looks, whoever cut this just did kind of a little cut. I want to get it kind of straight. And I don't have a square with me. I used to have an aluminum square that was probably 2 feet long. 2.5 feet long, maybe, like an L. It's called a square. And it's a flat piece of aluminum that's maybe 1.5 inches wide, maybe the side's 2 inches and the top's 1.5 inches, something like that. So my first bit of order is I want to cut that straight. Okay? And that's why I've got my level out here. I just happen to have my level because I'm going to use that as my straight edge. Okay, so I'm going to get this, and I want to make it straight. Now, I could come across on the end of this carpet piece, and I could look at that one and see if that's straight. And that one's really not straight either if I just follow the lines. Okay, so one way or another, I've got to make this straight. Maybe I should lower this a little bit more. I'm just lowering the legs of the tripod. like to do things on the fly. I don't want you to think that I'm going to do something without showing you what I'm doing, okay? Always seems like when I bend over, I always want to get the snuffles.